From our 7 Tasmania studios, your nightly news with Kim Miller begins now.
Good evening. A harness racing whistleblower has told a parliamentary inquiry how her claims of horse doping, race fixing and systemic integrity issues were long ignored. The racing minister today apologised for delays but says government changes will clean up the embattled industry.
Whistleblower Janet Ainscoe has been critical of Tasmanian harness racing for years, and despite the landmark Murray review into the industry, she believes not much has changed at prominent trainer Ben Yol's Sidmouth stables.
The horses are still exposed to the elements. They have no shelter other than rugs. Their water and feed buckets are often tipped over and they eat their own manure.
Giving evidence at an inquiry into the industry, the former racing integrity steward detailed allegations about horse doping by another trainer.
Mr. Nathan Ford had applied cocaine sublingually to horses prior to racing.
Also coming forward about race fixing and concerns the industry's drug testing regime for horses was flawed, reporting many past matters to the now disbanded Office of Racing Integrity, but never learned of the outcomes.
Me reporting stuff was irrelevant. They didn't want to hear from me. That's what I felt.
Efforts by the government and racing authorities to clean up the industry also put under the microscope.
Minister, are you saying that the new equine code of practice needs to be reviewed already, the one that came in a few months ago?
I believe that there's always room for improvement, and animal welfare is my number one priority.
The racing minister adamant significant changes have been made to improve harness racing standards for the better.
I apologise that it has taken so long. Moving forward, it's about regaining the faith and trust of the racing industry and the people in it.
Anthony Dodd, 7 Tasmania News.
After breakdowns in communication between stakeholders triggered the Spirits fiasco, the Transport Minister says he's confident new appointments to key roles will help the project get back on track. Erica Betts was grilled in a Public Accounts Committee hearing about what's changed since last year's fallout.
What changes have been made in terms of the way you expect this business to interact with you as the minister responsible?
The first and most important point is the quality of the people that are now in charge, and I have every confidence in them. That said, we have regular meetings.
One of those newly appointed roles is TT Line's incoming CEO, Chris Carboni, who's held senior positions at Toll Group and Coles. The state and federal governments are committing $52 million in disaster assistance as bushfires continue to ravage Tasmania's west coast. The funds will go towards supporting local and interstate firefighting efforts to protect environmental and cultural assets in the region. The bushfires have already burnt around 100,000 hectares of land and are expected to continue burning for some time. A section of Launceston's First Basin walking track will be off limits for the time being after being damaged by a bushfire last week. Around 200 metres of track between the suspension bridge and the Sentinel Lookout was impacted, with landslips and rockfalls reported. An aerial survey has been carried out to assess the extent of the damage. Council says it's too early to know when the track will reopen. An online portal is aiming to make it easier for Tasmanians to start small businesses, helping aspiring entrepreneurs navigate rules and regulations. The hub is a place startups can go to voice their questions and concerns.
It goes to our red tape coordinator, and it's a he, Stuart Clues. He will deal with it on the basis of sending it to the appropriate authority.
For simple forms and things, you're looking at a month turnaround, and if you're trying to open a business, a month closed is it's a big burden.
Meanwhile, an audit task force is being assembled to streamline the process by assessing which permits, approvals and licences can be removed. Tasmania is set to receive an extra $83 million in federal government funding as part of updates to the National School Funding and Reform Agreement. The scheme is designed to help improve student learning and wellbeing at public schools, as well as lift completion rates. The Commonwealth will provide $447 million to Tasmanian schools over the life of the agreement. The new funding boost will kick in from this year. 18 dangerous intersections across the state have been earmarked for upgrades in a bid to save lives on our roads. The $5 million in funding is part of the federal government's Black Spot program. This roundabout in Lindisfarne is one of the crash hotspots that's in line for an almost $500,000 facelift.
We have been working incredibly hard to make sure that we make our roads safer and that we improve productivity when it comes to our transport system in Tasmania.
It is a really important part of improving the safety of our roads. Safer roads mean, in the end of the day, safer people.
The public is urged to jump online to nominate black spots they think are dangerous. Community information sessions are underway as plans progress for a long-awaited hospice centre in Launceston. The region has been without a dedicated public palliative care facility since Philip Oakton House closed its doors in 2007. The 12-bed purpose-built facility will be housed near LGH at the Allambie building on Howick Street. A development application has been submitted to Council. Well, Formula One fever may be sweeping Melbourne, but Tasmania isn't missing out on the racing action. A record Trans Am field is raring to go ahead of the 2025 season opener at Symmons Plains next weekend.
Giving the course its first proper workout before the big race.
It's just good to sort of, I guess, blow the cobwebs off. It's been, sort of almost 4 months since we were last in the cars.
The 2023 champion leads a record grid. 33 cars will line up for the Trans Am Series opener.
It's always exciting to start a new season and, for me, there's not too many better places than to do it down here at Symmons Plains.
When the racing starts next weekend, they'll be around the back straight lined up there, that many cars.
After conquering the Touring Cars Masters, local hero Adam Garwood is eyeing off a new title.
First full season in the category, so looking forward to it. It's going to be full of challenges, but it's going to be a good weekend.
The Tassie champion knows a thing or two about Symmons Plains.
Probably a bit scary to work that out. I'd like $1 for every lap I've done.
Some valuable laps which could prove vital as his competitors prepare for the track's notorious layout.
It is the hardest on brakes in Australia, even harder than Bathurst's track on brakes. So the drivers need to maintain their cars well.
That turn 4 hairpin, over the years there's been so many incidents, some good, some not so good.
Cars like these hitting speeds of up to 240 kilometres an hour. Hitting the track isn't for the faint-hearted, but I think I can handle it.
You'll find out how fast they go.
You don't really care how fast it goes, it's just how quick it gets around the track.
Victoria Risto, 7 Tasmania News. Australian Test cricketer and Tasmanian Tiger Matt Kuhnemann has fronted cameras for the first time since being investigated for his bowling action. The in-form spinner says he never doubted his craft.
He was at the centre of a major cricket controversy.
There's a new scandal in international cricket tonight with an emerging Australian bowler under investigation.
The spinner reported for a suspect action.
Matt Kuhnemann was playing in Sri Lanka when he was told he'd been reported to match officials.
It was a bit of shock when I first found out.
Speaking for the first time on camera since the saga, the 28-year-old says his bowling has never been questioned.
I was very confident that the whole time, I've bowled millions of balls throughout my career, and like I said, there was no doubt whatsoever.
Forced to the sidelines during the investigation, Kuhnemann was officially cleared of any wrongdoing.
I accepted the process, and it was very straightforward and simple.
The Queenslander also plays for the Tasmanian Tigers and will return here to Ninja Stadium tomorrow to play in their final Sheffield Shield game. They'll face New South Wales, and while it hasn't been the season they'd hoped for, the team's aiming for one last knock at redemption.
We'd like to win a few more games this year and be in that Shield final, but is what it is. We're definitely growing something good down here, and I think we're not far off from holding the shield.
Now ready to leave the whole debacle well and truly in the past.
I've had a couple of weeks to sit back and reflect on everything now and sort of move on.
Lily Thompson, 7 Tasmanian News.
The Hobart Chargers women's head coach says the current squad is one of the strongest he's seen. With high calibre players, the challenge now is how they play together on court.
It all depends on how that chemistry works and how it all fits together when we hit the floor, but on paper, talent-wise, it's arguably the most talented team that I've coached.
We have all the individual capabilities, so if we can bring that all together, we'll be really competitive this season.
Their first game is against Launceston on March 29. Well, soccer fans rejoice because the round ball is back. The NPL and WSL both kicking off their seasons this weekend, and it's a jam-packed round one. The Kingborough Lions welcoming Maddie Clark into their squad as they go head-to-head with South Hobart.
First impressions are always very important, but yeah, I think we've been preparing really well.
And I've been very impressed with their work rate, their attitude. So yeah, it's been exciting.
It'll be a northern derby for the men tonight, with Launceston City and United facing off, while Glenorchy takes on Clarence. And to Devonport, where our Aussie Golden Girl has done it again. Lauren Parker opening the World Triathlon Para Series on a high. The dual Paralympic gold medalist claiming the win with a time of 1 hour, 8 minutes and 45 seconds.
I did better than expected. I felt really good out there. It was a beautiful swim and I really pushed it on the bike like a good time trial.
Line honours not the only prize she's leaving with. She's owed a coffee from men's winner Howie Sanborn after beating his time by under a minute.
Good evening. I guess everybody knows that my wife picks my suit and tie combinations every night here at the station. Interesting she would pick this one for this evening. Anyhow, I do what I'm told. Hobart and Launceston 25 today, Devonport 23, Burnie a high of 26 degrees, and that was the state's warmest. Temperatures above average today, Friendly Beaches 24, Grove 23, Ouse, Smithton and St Helens 22, Low Head and the Islands 21, 19 today at Lyre, Weenie and Strawn. Some low-level cloud over the west and south today, the rest of the state fairly clear, apart from a little bit that crept over the far northeast later. Cloud sits over southeast and WA as well as further north over that state. Thunderstorms over the tropics. Tomorrow a high pressure centre is over the New South Wales-Queensland border, with another moving over WA from the southwest, a trough cutting back from the bight through Western Australia as well. Winds tomorrow mostly north-northwesterly and as strong as 30 knots over the west and south, swells to 3.5 metres. We have a strong wind warning that applies for waters from Tasman Island to Sandy Cape, along with the central and southwest lakes, where winds will reach 30 knots late on Saturday. Showers increasing over Hobart tomorrow, 26 the maximum, 23 for Medina, showers, and showers for Oatlands are getting heavier during the day. 24 for Launceston, showers, same for Devonport, 22 with the triathlon there, the 40th anniversary, 19 the top for Lyre, Weenie with showers increasing. 23 for Burnie, showers over Strawn, 23 also for Marrawar. And in the east, a shower or two, not quite as strong as elsewhere, 25 at St Helens, Swansea 27, 26 for Orford. Now on to Sunday, more showers contracting to the west and south later, snow to 800 metres, thunderstorms and small hail over those same regions. A shower over the west and possibly King Island, otherwise fine on Monday. And on Tuesday, a fine partly cloudy day, a 50-50 chance of a shower in the west. Partly cloudy in Perth, sunny and hot in Adelaide tomorrow, partly cloudy for Melbourne, a hot Saturday ahead for Canberra and Sydney, showers and storms for Darwin. And it's still daylight in Tasmania, 21 in Hobart, 23 in Launceston, 22 right now in Devonport. Just a postscript to the football last night, Kim. We were sitting there watching it last night. Donna decided to bail out halfway through the second quarter and thinks maybe the Vikings versus the Saxons was a better option on TV. She didn't even know the Tigers had won.
And you didn't even tell her till 4 o'clock today. Well played, Murph. And that is all your news for now. Have a great weekend, everyone. I'll see you again Monday. Good night.